This is Ian Hodge with another lesson from Powerhouse Piano. If you haven't downloaded the music, you can get the music at our website, and it's pieces numbers 24 to 27, lesson number 10 for young players. And the first thing we're going to point out in this piece number 24 is there's a key signature of F sharp, and there'll be F sharps to play, and then we're going to point out that there's an Italian word written at the top. Now, we've had some words written in the past and I've kind of ignored them, but today's time to play catch up. In my Read, Write, Pray program at page 100, in lesson 13, the students are starting to learn the Italian words for speed. They've already learned words like forte and piano, which mean loud and soft, but here on page 101, they'll learn allegro, moderato, andante, largo, and presto. And if they don't have my program, then I'll have to find some other way of learning their music theory and application. But here in my integrated music program, everything is there for the student to be successful. And so we point out that there are 2 beats in the bar. When there's 2 beats in the bar, there's 2 quarter notes in this one. The new music usually clips along at a reasonable pace. At the end of the music is a repeat sign. They haven't had repeat signs before, so your child needs to learn that that sign there means, in this case, go back to the beginning. And you just play it twice. So here's my demonstration. One, two, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. This is not that hard for the student to play, but it's going a little faster so that their hands really got to learn to bounce along, quite nicely, and they can play it faster than this once they have it under control and usually memorized, so that they're not worrying. But again, you might need to take your pencil and sit with your child long enough for your child to learn the notes, and so that they can then go and practice it, get the whole thing really memorized properly, and then they'll be able to just sit and enjoy performing this little short piece. You notice also in this lesson the pieces are starting to get a little longer. Now, if your child can't handle these 4 pieces and the increased length, then just do 1 or 2 pieces. You don't have to do them just because I've written them. You have to learn to judge and give your child what is going to be of maximum benefit to them. Here in number 25, again, we have another Italian word, allegro, which means fast. Not very fast, it just means fast. Again, we have that F sharp key signature again. 3 beats, 3 quarter notes, beats in every measure in this one. And this little pattern of notes here, which is going to reoccur 3 times for the left hand, the same grouping, is to get your students used to having their hand in amongst the black notes. Here we have a D sharp on the bottom with the 4th finger, and F sharp with the 2nd finger, and the 3rd finger's on the E in the middle. And again, a repeat sign at the end. And as you can see me playing here, my hand pretty well sits in amongst the black notes. I can't quite do it because my hand's a little fatter than your child's, or rather my fingers are a little fatter than your child's, and therefore I don't fit in between the side of these black notes quite as comfortably as what I could if I was just a little lighter in the fingers. See, later on we have to learn to play right in those gaps in between the black notes. And there is absolutely no margin for error. You can't miss the spot, because if you do miss the note, you'll play the note next to it and you'll just get a wrong note and it sounds awful, depending on the context of the piece and where you are in the piece. So there it is. Now let's look at this again. Here's my hand sitting there between the D sharp and the F sharp. I move my hand just back a little bit to get the 3rd finger just clear of the black note, because it's a little easier for me, as I said, with my fat finger. But your child doesn't have my fat finger problem, so let them play their 3rd finger over beside the black D sharp. Their finger will fit. They just got to get used to the narrow space there and the fact that there's no margin for error. That's what makes piano playing so much fun. And such a challenge. If you're a fraction out, it's not quite as bad as a violin, but it can be pretty bad. Here's piece number 26, Andante. They're going to learn a new note here, the note E, which is right next to the D, so this time the fourth finger is going to start on D and they're going to play that E with their pinky. Here's our little D sharp again, and this time we're playing our F sharp and running up, and there's our F sharp in the right hand, and there's a D sharp. Now look at these fingerings in these yellow sections here. Make sure that your child learns the fingerings that are marked at this point, because what we're starting to do now is change the fingering so our hand can move over a different group of notes midway through the music. Down here, your child is actually going to stretch their hand a little bit so that they're stretched over 6 notes instead of the usual 5. And if you just run over that one, or measure that group of 5 notes with your child first, they'll play that without any trouble. Again, the hands are playing just together right at the end, and we have another repeat sign. So if your child has apprehended all of that, there's no reason why they can't play slowly through the piece with you playing and demonstrating it for them. I'd make them play it before they get a chance to hear me playing it, but that makes it hard. That means they have to read the music and they can't guess having already heard it. I really make these lessons available for the parents rather than the child. One parent suggested, why don't I speak on these videos as if I'm speaking to the child? And the trouble is I can't speak to the child because in a physical lesson I do a lot of picking up the child's hands and moving them around as I speak. In this case the parents are taking my place as the teacher, so my purpose in these video clips is to guide you as the parent in what to do. So if you, the parent, see my hand moving like this, it should be easier for you to sit right beside your child and say, is he moving his hand up and down like that, separating the notes? Again, I'm clearing the notes well enough for me at my age, but if I was working with young students, I'd make them lift their hands just a little bit higher so they get used to elevating. It's like ballet. If you want to do a high leap across the floor, you have to learn to elevate yourself higher. Piano playing is the same. If I want to jump from one end of the piano to the other reliably, I need to get more height in the lifting of the hands because of the greater distance. The idea of learning is really to learn to exaggerate movements at slow speed. Then when you go fast, they just become automatic. Automatically your brain and your muscles work together and your hand will do the right thing. What we're trying to do is train our mind and our muscles to respond to certain situations, the situations driven by our imagination and how we want the music to be played. Last piece is number 27. Again, we've got this allegro, we've got the 2 beats in the bar, 2 half beats this time, 2 half notes. Now this piece has got a little trick in it. Well, it's not a little trick, it's got a little pattern. If you look at the notes here, the first note in every measure that I'm highlighting, you'll see it plays a scale of C major descending. C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C. See how I've taken that little pattern and stretched the scale of C major in that descending pattern. That pattern is repeated here in these first 4 measures, but the last 4 measures of the composition I can't use that same combination to be able to have the piece finished nicely. I need to change the music a little bit. Again, because it's 2 beats in the bar, it's relatively fast. that's it. See you next lesson.
If you'd like help with this lesson or any other lesson from Powerhouse Piano, just send me an email, ianhodge@powerhousepiano.com, and I'll get back to you to help you in every way that I can to make sure your teaching experience at home is a success for you and your child. And if you're looking for more teaching materials on Powerhouse Piano, go to our website, powerhousepiano.com, and there you'll find resources that can help you teach your child the piano at home successfully.